Today on the channel, my dad is back, and we're back unboxing some more Neca Universal Monsters as we've got the Mummy, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein glow-in-the-dark editions.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, back again with a special guest, my dad. Say hello, Dad.
Hey, hello.
Hello, he's back at it again, and today we're here again to unbox 3 Universal Monsters. 3 you might have seen maybe at your local Target store, for example, as we're talking the Neca Universal Monsters, Mummy, Frankenstein, and of course the Wolfman. Glow-in-the-dark editions from Neca Toys. But remember, for all your Neca toy needs, to hit up Entertainment Earth, to make sure you use discount code Kyle to save 10%. Anything over $39 does ship free. But Dad, welcome back to the channel once again, talking everything and anything Universal Monsters and a whole lot of other stuff. Hopefully you're ready for this.
Pleasure to be here, you bet.
Yeah, do you think you're ready for this?
I hope so.
You can take this. Now, you own every Neca Universal Monster except these 3. Now, it's going to be interesting, and we're going to have to ask the question at the end, Dad, are you going to pick these up, or are these going to be passes for you? And right now, you don't think there's enough meat on the bone.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'll be interested to see them out of the package.
Yes, of course. It makes sense.
But there was something about the book packaging on the original release that was pretty fascinating.
Well, you're in luck here because we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews here on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging.
Okay.
Then we're going to unbox it. Then
go.
we're going to talk about it, and we're going to be going off the races. We'll see what happens from there. We'll do some comparisons later on in this video as well. But let's start it off with the Wolfman. Everybody loves a Wolfman. Larry Talbot, one of your favorites.
Oh, Larry.
What do you always say about old Larry Talbot?
Yeah, Larry's a little whiny.
He's a little whiny
We've
for
always
you.
said that.
You've
Yeah,
always had an issue with old Larry Talbot. Now, these figures are interesting, and it's so weird because, of course, I was haunting a lot of toy stores in the 80s, as were you, with me, for sure. We were in the Children's Palaces. We were in the Toys R Us's. We were in the KB Toys. We were in the Targets. Where else were we? We were in the Pomidas, the Places, the Alcos, the Ben Franklins. What else was there? Anything else you can think of?
There was another store much like Target that closed. We had like
Venture.
Venture.
Venture. It was always did right. Venture at Venture.
It was.
We also had Walmarts, but Walmarts didn't really come to town until like 95, I think it was. 95, 96, something like that. So there was a lot of places. There was a few toy stores that were back and forth and things like that. But I can't think of anything else that we could buy toys at back then.
KB. At
KB.
the mall.
Yeah.
That would be about it.
That was about it. So it was an interesting time. Of course, there was no internet back then. I don't think, at least, or it was wasn't it? No, it was a computer. It was invented at Iowa State University, I believe, the computer. But anyways, long story as usual. These are a throwback to the 80s Universal Monster toys. It says right here, an authentic posable action figure based on the classic Universal famous mini monster collection from the early 1980s. Now, if I remember correctly, they were akin to like G.I. Joe style karting, G.I. Joe size figure of the 80s. So these are ramped up bigger versions of these. And I have zero recollection of ever seeing these in the stores. And you're in the same boat as me.
I don't
remember.
recall seeing them, no.
So I'm not really sure of the age thing. I might have been maybe a little bit too young to really be looking for something like this at the time. And you probably, of course, no internet or anything, so you wouldn't even have known these existed to even look for them. Right. So it's one of those kind of things. But it's an interesting nod to the past, and it's interesting to get the most out of your molds. It's an interesting way for Neca, as these are a little bit cheaper. As I ended up getting these for under $20 at my local toy store. You've been to JCD and Hobby a time or two yourself, but I got them on a sale, and they had them under $20. I think Target has these around $24, $25, something like that. So you can get these at Target, but they're not going to be for everyone. And these are one of those figures that really do look better probably on the package, on the card, than maybe open too, because there's something about that carding that looks really good. It always brings me back to the Crestwood Monster books from my local library. When I was a little kid, I would go to the library at school library. And it does have that kind of same feel of the black and white, especially with the orange writing. Very, very iconic to kids of the 80s that were checking out monster books in their little school library. But a very, very interesting looking packaging. Like I said, I kind of hate unboxing these because I think this would look really cool. But I don't really got a spot in my collection that would make sense to hang these on the wall. So I don't really have an opportunity. I don't think you really do either. So if you do buy these, would you open these up or would you leave them?
I think you would probably open them up. That's a very big card, and you start hanging a bunch of those, you're going to run out of space.
And there's only 3 for now, and I think that's all they're going to have. But you, on the Neca Neca ones, the boxed ones, you haven't unboxed any. You just live through these unboxings, and you keep yours mint on card. He's a mint on card collector for Universal Monsters. For now, he's waiting. He's waiting. He's going to call up that backdrop guy and get a big setup go on. He's going to get a big diorama.
I need to free up a little more space.
Yeah, we'll see.
Which I'll do.
There you go. There you go. But let's take a look at the Wolfman first. So you get the big, thick, heavy cardstock. I mean, that is the thickest cardstock ever. You could really cut somebody up or hit somebody and hurt them with this thing, for sure. Obviously, no siding, but you do get a little bit of action on the back. There's the 3 on the bottom. You got a little credits, Universal Monsters, UPCs, all that kind of stuff. Really no blurb. Collect the whole creepy crew of Universal Film Monsters. All posable and ready for action. Well, what do you say? Let's get him out of the pack. Let's see what's going on. Actually, it comes off a lot easier than I thought he was going to. He does come with a stand. I always love, he's falling off. Well, there it is. See you later. And see you later. Bam, goodbye. So it does come pretty clean off the card, which isn't bad. So there it is, quite the card. Got the nice little like heat signature around him. It looks like store maps. I don't know, you don't know store maps, but store maps in the retail industry, they map out a store. They get like these infrared cameras, and you see the traffic patterns, and you see the heavy spots of stores. That's what that reminds me of. Little workday knowledge thrown in here. But now we get down to old Larry Talbot himself, and he only comes with one accessory. Once again, a stand. We've seen this with every version of these because he's got the kind of, I don't know what you call it, feet. Little off-center feet there. We do get a stand. Always nice to have a stand, of course. Now we get old Larry Talbot out of the package, and we look at it. Feels familiar, but it feels different. And of course, this does glow in the dark. I'm guessing only his face glows in the dark. I think that's a pretty safe bet.
That's true.
It's kind of got that paint color to it that looks like glow in the dark. Besides that, it looks like a lot like Larry Talbot we're used to in the Wolfman form to me. Let's walk through articulation-wise. Head back and forth, side to side. I would assume head is removable, so if you really wanted to, you could grab the other editions, mix and match the heads, move things around, do stuff like that, so that is a possibility. Arms do go all the way around. You do got single jointed elbows, hands back and forth, side to side, hands removable. You could switch with your other versions as well. Waist articulation. Look at those big old Wolfman splits. He's jumping over those traps that are out in the fields for him. Single jointed knees, side to side on the knees, ankles back and forth, up and down. So your typical Neca articulation here. What would you call this suit color, or this color here? Brown?
Brown, kind of dark, medium brown.
Medium brown, I would say so. So it's very interesting. The color's a little bit different, a little bit darker brown in the hair color, I would think, than the other ones. The one thing I really like on this head sculpt, though, is you get the fangs and then you get the blood running down his mouth. So that is something brand new, the mud there. Or the mud, the blood, the beer, all that kind of stuff. But he's got the blood running down, he's got his fangs. He's got the side-eye look, very brown eyes, brown hair throughout. What do you think about that one? Does it look like the Wolfman to you, or does it look like a cheap knockoff?
I'm kind of middle of the road. I think it's not a cheap knockoff, but the face sculpt doesn't look as good as the other one that they created. It looks like a guy wearing a brown stocking hat.
Yeah.
Around with his face wide open, where the other one is more of a full beard and full hair on the one they released earlier this year.
We're going to do all 3 comparisons for the old glamour shots. So we can kind of look, and Dad's going to check, see if he fits on a ringside collectible stand. That might be too big of a stand, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, well, we're going to put him on the ringside collectible stand. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. If you will fit. We'll see. But we do got these 2 over here. It's amazing. Gosh, these figures are so good here, these Wolfman figures. I mean, just looking at them just really takes you back to your childhood is what it does for me, at least. Is he going to fit? Is he going to stay?
Yeah.
He's making his final stand.
Yes.
Old Larry Talbot.
There you go.
So there it is.
Bend him back so he balanced.
So Larry, I don't know. Between the 3, what would you rank these guys?
Well, I like these too. This is obviously the silver screen, but that one's great.
So you're going to say the glow in the dark is probably your least favorite of the 3?
I would say
pretty easily.
The glow in the dark's my 3rd.
Pretty easily. I think I'm going to have to go this.
Yeah.
I like the blood aspect to it, but as a whole, I think there's no doubt that it's going to be 3rd. And I would think most people watching this are probably going to say the same thing. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now we turn our attention to another one, another old friend here. We got the Mummy, doing mummy things as well. I don't know where we can put these guys. I think we can lay them down, maybe.
There you go.
There you go. All right, we're going to look at the Mummy now. There he is. I'm not a big fan of this. I feel like this should be the Mummy's head here. I don't know. What do you think? Are you okay with that? And you know who this looks like to me? You know who this looks like. This looks like, was it The Fish? Abe Vigoda? Wasn't that his name? Wasn't that his name? You know what I'm talking about?
It's Boris Karloff, but they have some similar characteristics.
Wasn't Abe Vigoda in The Godfather?
He was.
You know, I watched The Godfather 1 the other day.
He was Tessio, who was the traitor to the Godfather's family and ultimately killed.
Spoiler alert, don't ruin it for all these people. I actually watched The Godfather like a couple months back for the first time ever. I have never seen it, and I've never been so bored in my life. I heard The Godfather 2 is supposed to be better, though, somebody said.
It is. It's a good movie also. I mean, they're both great movies. They're totally Americana, story of an American family. You got to think past the mafia and the Cosa Nostra end, but it's issues of everyday life.
I remember as a kid for like Father's Day, Christmas or something, I bought you the VHS Godfather pack, and then many years later bought you the DVD pack.
Right.
Now it's time to move into the Blu-ray pack for my dad. We'll see what happens there. But what if they made Godfather figures? Would you be introduced into those? Would you buy those?
There'd be a ton of them. So you'd have to have a lot of shelf space.
Those Italians, they got big families.
And a lot of enemies.
Is there a lot of enemies?
And so they would have to display them too.
See, that was my problem. I think I was trying to edit videos while I was watching The Godfather, so I didn't get to pay as close attention as probably I needed to. I'm guessing that's
probably one of the greatest movies, top 10 movies ever made.
Wow.
Godfather 1 and 2.
Wow, right up there with like Road Trip and Freddy Got Fingered with Tom Green. What other some G.I. Joe, the animated movie from '87? How dare I forget that? I'm trying to think of my favorite movies. Of course, Devil's Rejects, my favorite movie of all time. So it's probably right up there with them, I'd imagine. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is another really good one. I don't know if you've seen that, but I recommend it. Strong.
I think your list depends on who you're talking about.
Maybe, could be. But I'm pretty sure this is Abe Vigoda at the end of the day. I think circling it around. He was in, what was that show where he was like the fish or something? I used to watch it on Nick at Night. Barney Miller?
Barney Miller.
Miller. Oh, good watching right there for all you grandpas out there. But it does look like Abe Vigoda to me. I don't care what anybody says. But we got the Mummy in there, very similar packaging to the Wolfman, same blurb as well. Same back, getting the most out of everything here. They're doing a lot of that same stuff. Let's get the Mummy off the card, and look at that, just flying right off. See you later. Give it the old see you later.
There you go.
You got to get
those cards are dangerous.
Throw that. See if you can hit that camera. Whoa. Oh, you missed. I like to try to hit for that the camera lens right there. But there's that card there. Give you Abe Vigoda. I believe Abe Vigoda has died. He died a few years ago.
Yes, he did.
National Day of Mourning, if I remember correctly. It makes sense. Now this is an interesting one. Now this feels like that Swamp Thing grayscale Swamp Thing I got in my collection. He's got that kind of grayscale to him. It's not quite black and white, but it's not quite colorized, and he looks like a happy mummy to me. He's got a little bit of a smirk on his face, doesn't he? Or he looks like he just bit into like something really sour.
Well, there are a few happy mummies. I'm sure there are.
You know, that's the thing. I think the mummies got a bad rap because a lot of people thought they were always here to kill you, give it the old mummy choke and stuff. But some of the mummies were actually good when they came back, and they did good things. They helped in the community. They helped like build wells out in Egypt and things. I'm pretty sure that was the case.
They find more of them every day.
And they find more mummies every single day. But I've always been worried. We talked about it, I think, in those mummy unboxings. You know, that mummy's curse is a real thing. That was one of the things. It's weird in the 80s watching TV and In Search Of and all these, like, horror shows and, like, unsolved mysteries of the world that I really thought, like, the mummy's curse is something I should be really careful with. Like, if there was a mummy exhibition at a museum or something, don't go see that. It's not worth risking it. You could get that curse. You could die. You heard about all these guys that undid these graves that died within a month or whatever. That was a real threat to me as a kid. The other big threat for me as a kid, quicksand. I thought quicksand was going to get me by the time I was a teenager somewhere. The Never-Ending Story, you remember that movie?
I do.
Oh, it never ended. They lied. I remember you went up to the movie theater counter after we saw it at the theater. Mm-hmm. You put your fist down and you said, "You guys said this was the Never-Ending Story. I want my money back," because it ended. It ended. I want my money back. I believe that was the case.
I don't remember that.
No, I don't even remember seeing it in the theater, but it sounds good. It sounds good. But the mummy, he's very happy here. But quicksand and mummies were something I was really scared of. Not so scared of anymore, but maybe I should be. Maybe it's lying in wait to get me. Who knows? But a very interesting version of the mummy. I don't like the smirk. He just looks too happy. And what's up underneath his eyes there? He's got like little black. It looks like he's getting ready to play in the outfield for the Oakland A's or something. He put that under there. He just doesn't want the sun getting in his eyes. I don't know. This might be a good mummy to get a pair of glasses on and a nice hat, and you put them in like a little recliner and like a sun thing. It's like, hey, the mummy's vacation. is what this could be. Who knows? Articulation arms go around. Double jointed elbows playing all the hits for the mummy. Who knew the mummy, who really shouldn't have a lot of articulation, has the most articulation? Yeah. What's up with that? Hands side to side. Of course, the hand's going to be removable. You can flip-flop between the other ones if you need to.
Wow.
Hula hoop at the top. A little bit of waist action. Big old mummy splits.
Whoa.
He can jump over the Sphinx if he needs to in Egypt. You do get single jointed knees, side to side, ankles back and forth. Pretty good movements on this mummy, sure, whatever. Now, here's one. Where does he glow in the dark? And I guess I'll figure this all out later when we do the glamour shots, but I'm not sure how he's going to glow in the dark.
I'm not either. I mean, he looks the same from head to toe.
He does, and I do see a little of that on the back, right on his butt there. It seems like with a lot of toys, especially back in the day, that sit on card for a long time, sometimes they start becoming one with the card, and it seems that's the case here, is you've got a little bit of the carding stuck into his mummy pajamas here. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all, but at least it's on the back. But yeah, I'm not sure how this guy's going to glow.
The same thing happens when they take him out of the coffin. They're, part of the
part of the fabric will stick. That makes sense. It makes sense. I'm not sure how he's going to glow in the dark, and we'll see if he fits on a ringside collectible stand. And we got both mummies, too. Of course, we've unboxed all these on the channel. My dad and I, we're keeping it up. We're unboxing every Universal monster here on the channel together.
It does fit.
Man, these ones are pretty good. You get the sleeping mummy, but this one is just awesome. I love this head sculpt. This looks like something like he's just going to suck the soul out of you. Just absolutely crazy with that big open mouth going on. Does he have the rings on his hand on that one?
I don't have my glasses. I don't see them.
No rings.
No.
Huh, okay.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that guy. He looks like the mummy, but he also looks like something else, like a zombie. Like back in the olden times when zombie movies, almost Night of the Living Dead, but a lot of times you'd see zombies. That was kind of how they would make zombies look. So he does have that kind of feel. But I think once again, between all these, he's going to be third place for me. How about you?
I would say so too. These have the wrappings and all of that. So
yeah, it's still cool, but yeah, we're gonna put it at number 3. Yep. Now these are $10 to $15 cheaper than the traditional ones.
Right.
But this guy with his smiling face, I mean, I need a pair of sunglasses, I need a hat for him, I need a lounge chair, and I need like a palm tree next to him, and I need to just set that up as Mummy's Vacation.
You'd be drinking a Corona.
Yeah, you could give him some of the elixir from the Invisible Man, maybe. Now we're going to finish it off with, maybe some would say, the main event. We're going to finish it off with Big Frank right here. Oh, Frankenstein, of course. Looking good. We'll see what's up with him. Almost looks a little Herman Munster-esque, of course. Right there. And did you know that Neca is coming out with Munsters figures?
Oh.
I don't know if you were a Munsters fan, or was that... At the time when the Munsters came out, were you like, how dare you spit all over my Universal monsters?
No, not really. I mean, that was part of the wave of that 1964-65. You had the Addams Family, you had the Munsters, and then you had all the Universal monster movies being played at late night. So it was all one kind of fad that was going on all at the same time. So I think people like to see every kind of version. And I enjoyed the Munsters.
I did too. I was it Fred Gwynn?
Fred Gwynn.
Wasn't he in Car 51 or was
Car
it
54?
Car 54. Where are you? Another Nick at Night classic of the 80s I used to watch. And then he was in My Cousin Vinny as the judge.
That's true.
I've never seen that movie, but I've seen that part where he says the two Utes. The Utes? What are the Utes? That's the only thing I've seen from that. But Fred Gwynn, one of the awesomest actors. Right. How tall was he, I wonder?
I think about 6'7" or 8.
He wasn't messing around, old Fred Gwynn.
He was tall.
And they had a new Munsters movie just fairly recently from Rob Zombie, of course, Devil's Rejects fame, once again. I watched it once. It was worth a one-time watch, but nothing that's going to change your life, I don't think. But they're going to have Munsters figures from NECA via that movie.
Wow.
I think I'm all in. Stay tuned. I don't know if you'd want to unbox a Herman Munster figure on the channel with me.
Why, sure.
You're more than welcome.
You're more than
welcome. So we might do that. We'll see. And we can compare it to these guys.
Curious to see what it'd look like.
Yes, exactly. But there's old Frank there. I think we already showed it. We've seen the back already. They're the same throughout. These come off the card a heck of a lot easier than I thought they would. There's a little charm to that, I would say. Pull them out. Whoa! Give that the old see you later. Right at the camera. There it is. I like it. I like it. Got it right there.
I just wanted to save your equipment.
Bam! See you later. There it goes. And then there's that. Very similar packaging as we've seen. So, boy, oh boy, you know it's Frankenstein the minute you see it, but I don't know. Obviously, the green is going to glow in the dark, I think, on this. I do like the big blood cut on the top. And I can't remember, in the movie, did they show him how he got that cut on his head?
No, that was just stitching from when they put him together. It wasn't really a wound that he got.
Yeah, and I think his stitch is busted free. That's happened sometimes when you try to super glue those things. But it definitely is Frankenstein. Got the bolts in the neck, got the nice flat top. You could set your watch to that flat top. You really could. It looks really good. It looks like they messed up, though, a little bit on the paint, or maybe that's supposed to be that way, but it looks green on the hair where it should be black, I think.
Yeah, there were kind of stitches that went across the top of the forehead.
Yeah.
Where
That's what that is, actually.
The top
You're
of
right.
the scalp was...
Yeah, you're right. That is stitches. Then you got
in.
the big stitches on the
Right.
top. Yeah, it just looks a little off when you look at it straight on. Very interesting. And was it true that Lee Marvin was originally going to play Frankenstein in the reboot?
I never heard
I
that.
never did either. I just thought of that in my head, but I was watching, what was that movie I told you I watched the other day? I watched
The Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty Dozen. I've never seen The Dirty Dozen. I'm trying to be more well-rounded in my film watching. I don't got time to watch Back to the Future, but I got time to watch The Dirty Dozen. And I remember telling you, and we're getting off topic here, but boy, did anybody ever tell you Lee Marvin looked like Grandpa? And he did, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, look up, you guys, and I guess I'll put a picture right here. Lee Marvin in The Dirty Dozen, and the crazy thing is, we're the exact same age. Lee Marvin is the same age as me right now in The Dirty Dozen. And he looks like he's like 30 years older than me. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Well, he smoked a lot of cigarettes.
Smoked a lot of cigarettes.
Yeah,
I've never even tried a cigarette. Straight edge to the bone. Never even tried one. One's never even touched my lips. Never going to happen. Kids, don't smoke. Don't smoke. But smoking was the thing back then. It was.
Well, you look at those movies, everyone did.
Everyone was.
Yeah.
They were smoking.
Yep.
Got to do it. Got to do it, apparently. But Frankenstein here, of course, articulation. Arms do go around. Single jointed elbows. Hands going to be removable. Once again, you can switch back and forth between the Frankensteins if you really, really wanted to. He got those big Frankenstein splits. I don't know if we ever saw him do that, but he could jump over that little girl by the pond.
You can do the Monster Mash.
He could do the Monster Mash. What a song that was. What a hit. Keeps coming back to the charts every 10 years or so, the Monster Mash. Oh, we've all done it. We're all guilty.
I do it on my TikTok.
Yeah, you're on your TikTok. That's true.
We've done it several
Special
times.
Halloween Monster Mash. That one you did with Emma last year was,
man.
chef's kiss. Chef's
There you go.
kiss is
There
what
you
that
go.
was. Single jointed knees, side to side, of course, and the big old boots up and down, back and forth. Obviously, Frankenstein, no gymnastic at all, or gymnast at all. Head probably pops off pretty easy. Sure does, sure does. Got the old ball joint, too, on this one. Definitely good. Once again, he does got those black circles under his eyes. I have to think, going back to the Mummy and this one, did the Wolfman have those circles under his eyes? No.
No.
I'm guessing when these light up and they glow in the dark, it probably gives a little bit of a effect of some kind, I would have to think. Let's see if he fits on a ringside stand. Interesting one. When I think of, you know what this Frankenstein reminds me of, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but you'll know. That big Frankenstein model you put together as a kid.
Oh, gigantic Frankenstein.
The giant Frank. He's got kind of that color that you and Grandpa painted him, to me. So there it is.
Well, the plastic came in kind of a light ghoulish green color, and then you could paint it any other color you wanted. So
He kind of has that feel going on to me. But once again, I think I'm going to have to put him in third place.
I would too. I like the head sculpt better on those two for some reason. It's just a little more detailed. Otherwise, I don't know.
It's weird. Look at that crown on the hairline there. Turn that around.
Yeah.
Look at that a little bit. How it's there, but it's not on there. So
No, it's different.
heads are definitely different.
Right.
But I think once again we're going to put the glow in the dark a distant third. But they're cool to have, especially if you're all in on the Neca Universal Monsters. I could see wanting all three of these just because you're all in. You're in the collection. Maybe you got a glow in the dark collection. Of course, we've unboxed a lot of different glow in the dark stuff over the years on the channel. I got the 4-pack or the Super 7 4-pack of Ninja Turtles glow in the dark, supposed to be shipping in a month or two. Muckman. There's a lot of glow in the dark stuff these days, and it is a gimmick, but it's a gimmick to sell toys. Even down to the Universal Monsters. Who'd have thought they'd be squeezing every last penny out of these guys? They're okay for what they are. If you're paying $20,
They're about
I think
half price,
okay.
aren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
From these?
yeah, 75% cheaper, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, or 25% cheaper, something like that. Whatever.
Right.
Math was never my strong point, as you know, as you know. But not bad. It seems like Target stores are the place to really get these. Maybe your local toy stores like mine that had these, and they were actually cheaper than Target, which I was surprised of. But not for everybody. But if you're a hardcore Universal fan, or if you had the 80s version, you were nostalgic for those, I believe they were Remco back in the day, you might want to pick these up as well. So it's one of those things like that that's maybe more of a conversation piece, and I could see a lot of people keeping them on the card as well. Are you pretty much same thoughts on all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much in line on that. Now, the big question is, did this convince you enough to pick these up?
Having these two, no, I wouldn't pick pick that
What
one
if
up.
what if there was a big
Although
sale?
I could use it as a nightlight, maybe.
You could
Instead
walk
of the
through
ones
to the
I have.
bathroom in the middle of the night with Frankenstein holding him up. Be like a candle, like you know, you get because I'm sure you wear like the big old sleeping cap and the long robe, just like they used to do way back in the time.
I hate to admit it. But
Yeah, you do. You get the candle, you light the candle, and you walk like this to the bathroom at night. It's just
old habits are hard to break.
that is true. That is true. But what if, let's say, we went to JCD and Hobby, and they had a big weekend sale, and it was $10 a figure? Would you dabble at $10 a piece on these?
Probably not.
Wow.
It's a space thing. It's a space thing.
Retirement fixed
Yeah.
income. Fixed income.
Right. Having limited shelf space, no.
Okay, so $10 each. He's not a buyer. What about $5?
I could probably make money on it.
Oh, there you
I
go.
got it for
He's
$5.
gonna flip them on eBay, so there's no way they're going in your collection.
Right.
But the joke's on you. I've put in my will that you are actually getting all three of these in the
that's
will.
nice of
So
you. I'll look
really
forward
nice.
to- I'll look forward to
These
it.
are going to be buried with me actually, though. But
Oh.
it's okay since you already have them, so you don't really need them anyways. But the kids will be real disappointed, I'm sure. They really wanted these in their collection. That's why they said, "Well, Emma and I, we get one each, and sorry, they're coming with me." And Dad gets the glow in the dark one. So there it is.
Fair
Unfortunate. But there it is. Another NECA Universal Monster video is done. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Every thumbs up, my dad smiles. That's what happens every time there was a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Dangerously close to 25,000, at least as of filming this.
Wow.
Who knows? Who knows when this will launch on regular YouTube? Of course, it'll be on Patreon much early. Probably a couple weeks early, I have to think. So people are going to have to wait for this one for the majority. But we'll see what happens. Make sure you do subscribe to this channel. We'll be back with more Universal Monster videos. As you guys know, we always do these here together on the channel. And then don't forget about the old Patreon. Early access, like I said, bonus content, giveaways, Q&As, pro wrestling tees. You can also support the channel over there. Don't forget about SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. Dad, what's your TikTok again?
Tom's Dance Party.
Tom's Dance Party. We got a special Valentine's video he's working on. Pretty hush-hush, but there's going to be a special dance for Valentine's Day. We're all looking forward to that, we know.
Yeah, I just got to get healthy.
Just
Have to get healthy. It's been a drag.
It's been a tough winter,
Yeah,
and
it
I've been
has.
healthy, and then you come over here coughing a little bit. Now all of a sudden I'm coughing a little bit, so I don't know if it's contagious or it's just a sympathy cough.
Well,
It's a sympathy cough.
I never thought I would get COVID and then the flu back to back with 3 days in between of feeling good. So
Double whammy.
It's terrible. It's
Double
just
whammy.
terrible.
It's tough for
It's the mummy's curse.
It's that's
what it is.
you know, it probably wasn't either of those. It was the mummy's curse.
Yeah.
But Kyle, I'm still holding in tight. I'm invincible to COVID.
good
It
for you.
can't get me, even if I'm out all the time around people, shaking hands, kissing babies. I'll be kissing a lot of babies up here in Wisconsin, Janesville. Going to see you guys early February, right before the dance party kicks off. Come and visit me at the old store openings. I'll shake hands and give you some coupons, say hi, things like that. But COVID's still not got me yet, but we'll see what happens. You never know. It truly is the mummy's curse, though. I think that's the way it went. I think I was talking about the mummy's curse and the quicksand. Very well could be what was plagued on society. It's the mummy's curse. It's
there
not
you go.
COVID.
Yeah.
So there you go. Another video is done. Tom's Dance Party. We'll look you over there. We're anxiously awaiting the Valentine's video. We'll be back probably with Dracula as our next unboxing. Hopefully that comes sooner than later. So, Dad, thank you once again being on the channel.
My pleasure.
And until next time, we're going to both see you guys all real soon.